Hi grade 10s and 11s. I wanted to make a video to explain what we're going to do in class tomorrow. We are going to find the equation of a line if I know 2 points on that line. So I'm going to first start by showing you how it makes sense with the table of values, and then we'll move away from the table of values and we will use algebra to do this question. So if I want to put those 2 points in my table of values, I know that at 1, it is minus 6. And I know that at minus 7, it is 2. And what I want to do is I want to find out the rate of change. I want to find the slope, and I want to find the initial value. So let's first use table of values just because we've been using those a bit, and then we'll do algebra. So what we want to do is we want to find if I'm going from 2 to minus 6, it means I'm dropping 8. And then over here, if I'm going from minus 7 to 1, I'm going up 8. If I'm jumping down 8 in 8 of the x's, that means I'm jumping down 1 each time. Rate of change, to find my slope, I found this difference. I subtracted minus 6 minus 2, which gave me minus 8. And then I found this difference, 1 minus 7, which gave me 8. And then all I need to do to find my slope is once I found the differences, I need to take this number and I need to divide it by this number. So negative 8 divided by 8 gives me negative 1, which means that every time it's dropping 1. Let's make sure that works. 0, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5, minus 6, minus 7. Yes, that certainly works. So my equation would be initially at the beginning, it's starting at minus 5, and then it's dropping 1 every x. Or it could be going down 1 every x, and it starts at minus 5. Now, we're in grade 10. We want to figure out how to do that with algebra. Here's the equation that we will use starting today for finding the slope or the rate of change. The equation is m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And m just means slope. The math geniuses of the world have decided that m means slope, and don't forget that slope means the rate of change or the jumping number. And to find the slope, all we do is we do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Now let's make sure that makes some sense to what we're doing over here. Now remember, we started off with, let me see what we started off with. We started off with this, and we started off with this. These are the 2 points we had at the beginning. So my equation says, take your second y and subtract your first y. So here's my second y, subtract my first y. I want to do minus 6 minus 2. So I have minus 6 minus 2. And then it says to subtract my x's. So my x's say take my second x minus my first x. So I have 1 minus 7. Minus 6 minus 2 gives me minus 8. 1 minus 7 gives me 8. When I do that, my slope is minus 1, which is exactly what we got when we did our table of values. Now, so we found our slope, but the question wants us to find the equation. So here, some of you might have seen this before. This is the equation for finding a line. So remember, we said that the m stands for slope, which we already know. The part that goes with the x always stands for slope. And the other number, the number that's all by itself, stands for the initial value or the y-intercept. So we know right now, we know that it's jumping down 1 every x. We just don't know where it starts. Well, we do because we used a table. But if you hadn't used a table, you wouldn't know where it starts. You wouldn't know the initial value. So what you need to do is you need to pick an x and a y that go together. So over here, for example, this is an x and this is a y. X is 1, y is negative 6. They go together as a group. So what we're going to do is we are going to take that and we're going to put it into our equation. So my x, this x right here, we're going to replace with 1. My x is 1. My y is minus 6. So over here, I'm going to cross off this y. I'm going to put a minus 6. Okay, so we're doing some algebra here. Minus 1 times 1 is minus 1. Minus 6 on this side. We want to get b all by itself. So that means I need to move this minus 1. So I'm going to do plus 1 here, plus 1 here. My b is going to be equal to minus 5. And that's exactly what we found in our table, that at the beginning it is minus 5. So my equation is going to be y is equal to, it's going down 1 every x, and it starts at minus 5. So let's look at the steps. Step 1 is to use this new equation for finding slope, where you take your second y minus your first y, and your second x minus your first x, and then you divide, which is the same thing we did with our table of values. We found this difference, and then we divided. Once you find your slope, you're going to use this new equation. Y is equal to mx plus b. This should be an x. Mx plus b. And in this equation, my m is my slope, and my b is my initial value, or the y-intercept. You're going to write that down, and you're going to put your answer for the slope that you found using this equation. You're going to put that answer right here for slope. Third step is you're going to find any x and any y that go together. So I chose the 1 and the minus 6, but we could also use the minus 7 and the 2. Let's check to make sure we could have. So remember, we knew that it was going down 1 every time. Let's check. Let's use the minus 7 for x and the 2 for y. So over here, I'm going to cross off the x, and I'm going to put minus 7. I'm going to cross off my y, and it says the y that goes with minus 7 is 2. So here I have 2. Minus 1 times minus 7 gives you 7 plus b. I do algebra to get the b alone, so minus 7, minus 7. My b, or my initial value, or my y-intercept, is equal to minus 5. So the minus 5 goes here, and the slope is minus 1. And it was the same answer we got whether we put in the first point or if we put in the second point. It doesn't matter. Okay, so I'm going to show you the worksheet we're working on today. Here's the worksheet you'll find on Google Classroom. There's many questions, and they're all the same, where you want to use the equation m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 to find the slope. And then you'll want to use the equation y is equal to mx plus b. And then you want to sub in an x and a y that goes together to find the initial value. I'm in class, I can help you, but try your best and see what you can do after watching this video.